Hello! I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of every park that I've made. The 5-star campaign. I've got them all to 5-star now. I'm just gonna give you a quick glimpse of what I did with each park. Just waiting on the loading. There we go. Right, so we had Badlands to start with. You've got your arrival point over here. I modified it with the shops, the restrooms, the emergency shelter, monorail leading all around the park. We've got the Diplodocus over here, Edmontosaurus, and the Mosasaur. The Velociraptors are in there, as you can see. Happily looking around. They were the ones that were charging around everywhere at the start. Then we move across to the Atrociraptors, I believe. Should be in here. There they are. Atrociraptor juvenile. We've got the gyrosphere system running all around. And you've got the dinosaurs in here. Happily eating away. Brachiosaurus, Styracosaurus, and Stegosaurus, which I had to keep separate from the Ankylosaurus. You've got another little juvenile running around. There he is. Then we've got Coryphosaurus, Lokiceratops hanging around in here. And that was the end of that one. Moving on to the next. I'm going to go left to right. The opposite order of what I came in on. This is all in preparation for the stream I've got on tonight. I've got the challenge series coming up on Jurassic World, so I'll be running through that. Okay, and into Hawaii. This was the breeding challenge. You got the Velociraptors down in there. It was originally something different. I've moved everything around. The Stiggies. Happily charging through the forest. A Loroton? Oh, Lorotitan, sorry. Who's panicking because of the vehicle. Struthiomymus. I love the blue stripes on the Struthiomymus. I know it's the appeal isn't that great on them, but still one of the best. I haven't put a thing down in here because I didn't have the time, but Pachycephalosaurus. Parasaurolophus. Maiasaura. Just in there. Okay, and then moving down to here we've got the Triceratops and the Ankylosaurus with the Coryphosaur. I don't know the name of that one, but extremely long neck. That must boost a bit. I'm going to give it a go. Mamentia Syria. Nope, that was completely wrong. Anyway, that was the tour of Hawaii, I believe it was. Oh, sorry. Kiowa. The Lockwood Estate was the complete last mission. You had the extremely large flying one. I don't know the name of it, but that was flying around. It originally attacked my helicopter, and I couldn't shoot it in time, so it destroyed the helicopter almost. I had to retry the campaign on this one. Everything was running everywhere. It was a disaster, to say the least. So I had to try it twice. But I locked him in here. There he is. That's the thing that kept destroying my helicopter. I locked him in, made sure he had enough room, obviously. Walton taken care of. That one was empty, with the Gallimimus running around inside there, as well as the chunk. That's all I'm going to say for that one. Kentrosaurus, Myosaur again. The Kentrosaurs I think I've just released, which is why they're unhappy. This one's got some cool designs on the tips to the fins there. Apatosaurus. Parasaurolophus again. Got the Spinosaurus area. Which apparently turns into a fish when he's swimming in deep water. Okay. Then you got the T-Rex. Triceratops. Stiggies again, and the Stiggy Juniors. Running around. Cool animations. Yep, Innovation Center. And then that's pretty much it for that one. Then moving into Vegas. This was the one with the mass amount of flyers that were scattering around the park to start with. You had to try and lure them into an enclosure with tranquilizers. So not really lure them into an enclosure, but kind of drop them headfirst. And then you've got them locked in there. I made up some glass ones for the others. They're there and there. At the aquatics, we've got the mosasaurs and the new favourite, the megalodon. I don't know if you've seen the Jason Statham films, but amazing. You must go check them out if you haven't. And the mosasaurus. We've got a bit of a sandstorm going on. Gallimimus happily running around. Well, not happily running around, he's asleep, but still, he's in there.
Sandstorm has passed.
And then you've got two different types of Oophraptors because they only like being in pairs. And that was the end of Vegas. in the middle of the sandstorm. Okay, next up, Badlands. This was where it first began. The campaign, I mean, not the story. That was Lockwood Estate. And in the Badlands we have, I think there was herbivore area, Atrociraptors, Velociraptors, Allosaurus maybe? Anyway, entrance is down here. Diplodocus. Montosaurus. And there, Velociraptors over here. Atrociraptors are in this one, with a gyro station going through. Allosaurus, not too happy, because there's too many males in the enclosure, but I'm going to leave that as it is for now, because it was just, they were the last one to be in there. Little Stegosaurus running around. Ankylosaurus. And then you've got the Lokiceratops and the Coryphosaurus in here. And that was the end of that one. Next up, Azores. So of course each one's got the emergency bunker, the toilets and shopping that cover the entire area. Okay, this was the Jurassic Park theme one. I didn't follow the theme, I just kind of slapped buildings down wherever. You got the Triceratops in the original entrance. I left the tour where it was, I didn't actually continue with any of that. Viewing gallery with the Gallimimus and the Pachycephalosaurus. Then this one over here, we've got the Coryphosaurus and the little juveniles running around again. There they go, top speed. A little bit of a nature documentary for you there. Carnotaurus. I think they were mixed in with the Albertosaurus. Yeah, there they are, in the background. Okay, and then the T-Rex. The Velociraptors kind of jumped the fence, so they're roaming around the T-Rex pen at the minute. I will actually sort that when I'm not recording. The Nodosaur, juvenile. Gotta mimic him sometimes, ain't you? And then moving on to Italy, which is the Biosyn Sanctuary. Which is, of course, where the Chaos Fairy ends in the Biosyn. Now that I've actually watched Chaos Fury. So you had the intro area over here with the Jurassic tours that I've put around. I've got the gyro station and the balloon tour.
We are pleased to welcome you.
This was my herbivore area. That's where I didn't realise that once you built a fence, you couldn't delete said fence. So this ended up as a attempt to, you see what I mean? It just doesn't let you. But ended up as an attempt to contain the T-Rex, and then I had to build multiple extensions to such because I made a mess of it all. So then we've got the Ankylosaurus, Brachiosaurus, Stegosaurus over here. Each one was tried to contain with food areas around their specific water. Apatosaurus, and whatever else we've got scattered around here. Gate, apparently, is one of them. The Hyperloop station with the monorail going all around. Then we've got the carnivore area of T-Rex, Dilophosaurus. There were more Dimetrodon, but the T-Rex decided they were a snack. So I just left them to it, because Dimetrodon apparently helped Spinosaurus, and I didn't like how that ended. With the Jurassic World free, Jurassic Park free, sorry, not Jurassic World. So the T-Rex had a bit of revenge against something smaller. And that was the end of that park. Then Malta, I think, was the water area, where there were just lots of little parked aquatic areas everywhere, and I had to try and get as many of the fish types as I could, so they were a little cramped because I didn't have enough build space, but I got there in the end. And getting into this one, we shall see what we have around. So we've got the aquatic areas, like I said. It's a little cramped in there, that's why it's not really the best of health at the minute. But then we've got the unique one that I found, the Deinonychus. Something like that. I know I said that wrong after reading the name, but then we've got the Brachiosaurus, the Montosaurus. Fairly standard choices. The compies are in here. I think it was Velociraptor in here. And then moving up into this area, we've got T-Rex in there. Baryonyx in here. And another aquatic area to contain the rest of the fish. And that was it for that one. Moving into China. And we've got a mini enclosure over here, which is just the Camp Cretaceous core. It's a travel area. You've got the Mosasaurus at the very top of the map with the juveniles happily swimming around. Jumping on fish. I timed that well. There we go. And then we've got the Cretaceous core tour leading to the here. More emergency shelters and toilets. And then the huge herbivore areas where I tried to keep them separate again and failed completely, but I tried. And then the Apatosaurus, the Triceratops running across. The Patagotitan. I had to have as many large breeds as I could in this one. So that's why they're... But none of them seem to like each other, which was unfortunate. And I got the 3 little roundabouts in a row. I kept that in. Next up was Indonesia. This was the one with the disease and a tour system which leads on to itself. So it goes from one tour to the next, and then a slight path and another tour, and then at the end you've got the T-Rexes, which I will show you in a second. I actually remember this one. So yep, this is where the arrival point and stuff is, around here, and then it leads you out to a couple of viewing areas of small dinosaurs, because I can't see them. There we go. And very small dinosaurs. He's a bit old at the minute. And then we've got the mixed enclosure here with Pachycephalosaurus again. And there was another type. Where are you? The chunk. Just over there, blended in nicely. Okay, then it moves into the Jurassic tour over here with the Coryphosaurus, the Apatosaurus, the Gallimimus running around, and the Coryphosaurus. Oh, and the occasional Nodosaur apparently, which I missed. There they are. And then that tour ends here. You go into the gyro station, which takes you into the armoured types, the Edmontosaurus, the Triceratops, Shrewfiomimus are running around. Then you've got the nests, the Parasaurolophus, and that tour ends here, and then this leads you into the T-Rex area, where you've got the 2 T-Rex somewhere, and little baby T-Rex running around. Parrots in the background and a goat. Okay, and then to end on, we have Japan. With the cherry blossoms, of course, being a quite central feature to the entire map. I kept them in because I love the Japanese style in general, so I tried to keep it as best as I could to the to keep the style and structure in general. Kept the fences at a level 4 on this one. I didn't bother upgrading them afterwards. We've got the baby Carnotaurus running around. Quite a lot of the baby Carnotaurus. Very fertile species apparently. And then we've got the Triceratops right next door. And an offshoot of Albertosaurus in here. Like it could be a Velociraptor pen. Let's take a look. There they are, Velociraptors.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Triceratops to the park.
Apparently we've got Triceratops in the park somewhere. Coryphosaurus. And, yep, there's the Triceratops with the baby Triceratops running around. happily playing with its siblings.
Take a good look at this objective,
Cancel that.
then stop looking and get it done.
Stegosaurus. With a herd. Quite a large herd. Spinosaurus area. Over here. A dozy, sleepy bunch. It's about to get Trillon. There we go. The other one did not care that he was sleeping at all. And back to the Carnotaurus. So that was the entire Japanese structure over there. With the cherry blossom trees, obviously, scattered around. And the autumn ones over there. And that was it for the entire story progress. I got the 5-star on each one. I hope you liked the tour, and see you on the challenge campaign that I'm going to be doing. See you soon.